So it looks like Nintendo have gone and dropped an absolutely gigantic upgrade for the Switch 2. It really kind of came out of the blue. Normally these kind of updates to the operating system come, they get the patch notes, and we tend to just glance over them and pretty much ignore them because they're normally like stability upgrades and minor tweaks here and there. But this one is an absolute gigantic, potentially console upgrade that they have dropped. It does also include a bunch of other tweaks that do actually really improve the quality of life with the system, but the biggest upgrade here is that handheld boost mode. You've probably already heard about it, but I wanted to jump in and talk about it because it's kind of seismic that this has come free. We'll get into more details about it in a second, but let's just say it is an upgrade that we've both been dreaming about here. Firstly, some of the minor updates to friends lists and game chat has happened. You can now add notes to your friends list. I totally won't be abusing that to add horrible nicknames to Andy's name when I'm playing. And also with game chat as well, they've also made some improvements there where you can invite friends to a game chat that's already ongoing. That's kind of cool that you couldn't do that before, that they've now included that as well. Nintendo say they've also improved the quality of the game shared screen when expanded. I've not tested this, but let's just say before it was a potato, so any improvement to that is absolutely more than welcome and probably an easy win for them there. Moving on to one that I actually experienced recently, and that's airplane mode. They've actually now made this more usable and customizable. Previously, when you switched it into airplane mode, it deleted all of your settings for Wi-Fi, Bluetooth and NFC. It just switched them all off entirely. Now, when you switch airplane mode on, it will keep your settings for Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and NFC, and you can customize them inside of airplane mode as well, so you can switch them on and off whilst airplane mode is activated as well. So it gives you that kind of level of customization whilst using it in airplane mode. It's just a nice quality of life upgrade that they've put in there. There's also a smaller tweak when using media on the Switch 2. You can use the triggers to fast forward and rewind now any media that you see in the game store, but let's be honest, that's come before we see any media apps in the Switch 2 at all. We still don't have YouTube there, but we now have the ability to fast forward and rewind video. Go figure. But the big one though, handheld boost mode. Now this is genuinely a downloadable upgrade to the Switch 2 for your Switch 1 games. It's kind of huge. When activated, it runs your Switch 1 games if you're playing handheld in a TV mode on the Switch 2, meaning essentially it allocates more power to the system for playing Switch 1 games handheld that will dramatically improve the performance of Switch 1 software whilst running it on the Switch 2. Nintendo are obviously going to say that performance will vary from title to title, and I'm sure it will, but there's scope for it here to essentially turn Switch 1 games into a Switch 2 remaster of them. It's that big. I want to draw attention to GVG's video that they've just published on this. Go and watch it after this because John in that showcases this absolutely amazingly. He's playing Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, Switch 2 Edition, worst name in gaming, showing how horrible that game is. We know how horrible that version of the game is. They've done a real awful job of that. He then uninstalls the game and installs the Switch 1 version, but plays in handheld boost mode, and it genuinely looks better. Like night and day difference. It is the Switch 2 version of the game that we wanted, but it's the Switch 1 version, and it's a free upgrade in the operating system. It's a night and day difference, and it's kind of incredible how good it now looks. So much so that you wouldn't install the Switch 2 version after that. In fact, you probably wouldn't recommend you going out and buying it. So the potential here is absolutely massive for really improving the performance of Switch 1 games when playing handheld. Of course, you're not going to get like massive performance boosts. You're not going to suddenly run this at 60 FPS or even higher. It's not like a massive upgrade, but it is this kind of visual and quality of life performance upgrades that you'd get that somehow outpaces the Switch 2 versions of games that we've seen so far. It's kind of mental. It is the upgrade that we wanted when we were kind of dreaming this up when the Switch 2 was first announced. I know me and Andy talked about this as being a potential thing that they could do, and it's kind of mad that they've just kind of randomly shadow dropped it. Typical Nintendo, not announcing anything, just letting it out there. Of course, this does come at the expense of a few things. You are essentially tricking the Switch 2 to behave as if it is docked and connected to a TV. So there are some kind of caveats to running in this mode. Obviously, it's drawing more power, so it is going to affect battery life, and also it is going to affect some of the control inputs and display inputs because it believes it's docked to a TV. So things like touchscreen may become unusable when in handheld boost mode. In fact, I'm going to read it out because Nintendo have actually put a whole list of caveats with this when using handheld boost mode. It will increase the system's power consumption, so that will affect your battery life performance when running these Switch 1 bits of software. The handheld boost mode will vary based on software. Some Nintendo Switch software may be unaffected, and this option has no effect on software that's made for the Switch 2. That's kind of obvious. Because this forces TV mode operation, some instructions may be incorrect, that kind of makes sense, and may fail to operate correctly. Handheld boost mode may prevent Nintendo Switch software from using the system's touchscreen, and will cause the attached Joy-Con 2 controllers to be treated as if they're a Pro controller. There's a really important one with this as well. If you want to use other controllers, you have to first detach the Joy-Cons from the console in order to do that. In all this, the handheld boost mode is genuinely... Well, firstly, it's a genuine thing that me and Andy really wanted with the Switch 2, so it's really exciting to see it being dropped here. It genuinely can breathe new life into your old Switch 1 games, and in many cases make them look like they are the Switch 2 remasters of them that we kind of want. Xenoblade Chronicles X is an actual really good example of that, because it looks better in the Switch 1 mode running this handheld boost option rather than the Switch 2 version, which was a £5 or £6 upgrade. So it's kind of amazing to see this. So it's going to breathe new life into some of these older games. I'm really excited to try some older games on it and see how deep this can go. I'd love to know what you guys think. Let us know down in the comments down below. Make sure you like this video when you're down there. Subscribe for more handheld gaming content. Make sure you sign up to our membership so you can join me and Andy over in Discord. And of course, well, probably see you tomorrow in the next one. Bye!